Okay, more updates on the T project. This will probably be my last one for about a week. I head out Sunday night to go to work and gonna do some family time tomorrow night. Didn't really spend long day today. So just came out to the garage for an hour or so. But I did get out this afternoon and hit up Princess Auto, which is kind of Canadian Harbor Freight, basically, and grabbed some of these sawhorses. I was gonna get the biggest jack stands I could to stand up, put this frame up on, but I found these instead, and at $50 they're kind of a deal, and oops, and they hold quite a bit of weight in tandem, 2,200 pound load, so I could pretty much have the whole car sitting on this, but I wouldn't be able to lower it with this chain wall. Although it says 1 ton, it's what it's up on wouldn't hold the 1 ton. It's only anchored up through the roof trusses. I wouldn't lift anything more than a few 100 pounds of it. It is one of the better things that I've done to the garage here. I've only been in this place for a couple of years. Don't look at my janky light. This would be a source of shame. I'm an electrician by trade and I got lights hanging on my ceiling. But no, the chain fall has been invaluable, being that I'm here by myself 99% of the time. So things like moving the body onto the sawhorses. I actually had a video of me fumbling around with that. But then getting this chassis up, it's considerably heavier than the body, up onto these sawhorses is, well, like I said, invaluable, very handy. Check things out again, put a level across it. Sawhorses are level, frame's level, and there's no wiggle in it. She's pretty straight. There's maybe a difference of about a 13 or 1/32 of an inch, not even. It's like a hair, sliver of cardboard under it. That might be more to do with the surface on those sawhorses or something. Bounce on it, wiggled a little, but no. I think it's more of the legs and the sawhorses. The frames, for all the hokey mods done to it, surprised this thing isn't warped up like a pretzel. Thankfully, it's not. So my next step, why I've got it up on the sawhorses, is so I can work on it. I'm gonna take those mounts off, take these fender mounts off, take these shock mounts off. Ugh, look at that, gross. Guys, you know, before you weld that, you might want to grind that CAD plating off of there. Jeez. This, yeah. Tech screws or self-tabbers, drillers, not recommended for mounting wishbone mounts. But I'll reuse those because they're still good. Just that's probably not the right spot for them, and they got to be remounted regardless. This mount's got to go. Then once I do that, I'll flip it over, saw these 4-bar mounts off, because I may use that, or I may turn them into mounts for a wishbone. Still good pieces, I can just trim it off and what have you. Not sure what I'm gonna do with 4-bar. Doesn't really, 4-bar doesn't really jam with the air. Then, after that, once I get all that done, I can take a piece of steel and weld it across here to keep everything square. And then I'll do my shortening. I'm gonna shorten it at the back. I was looking, kind of debating whether to shorten up at the front. So I take the cross member out, slice it out, put the new tube in, but kind of bring it back a bit. It may still happen that way, just kind of do some measuring and figuring and wiggling and jiggling. Yeah, I got a new set of bigger jack stand. That'll be so I can put the rear diff up on them. Oh, I'm gonna put some wheels on it too. I gotta take this thing out. Not sure if I'm gonna use the A cross member or just when I shorten the frame out, because I really want a heavy rake. So I don't really want the kick up. I want the back end to be way up in the air, like the cookie car was. A lot of the other cars that I like, and that, you know, gives it that crazy look that I'm going after. So I might just put a piece of, I've got some 2x2 on the other side of the Pontiac over there, laying on the floor, lots of it. So let me just, not just stick of that in there and bingo bango. And then use that and then mount my T-spring off of it. I do gotta see if I can rescue these spring mounts. I don't understand what someone did here. What they were, they were trying to work with the stock frame and not have to modify the frame the way I see it. So instead of being spring over, they converted it to spring behind. So then the center of the diff was like around here instead of centered with the cross member. That's because the shorter T-coupe body basically ended here instead of like with a Model A back here. So and there they did that to move the rear end forward. And then that shoved all the drivetrain forward because they didn't shorten anything. So that dictated these hokey dokey freaking trans mount. I suppose it worked. I mean, it's heavy enough. I can't see it flexing, especially it had a earlier flathead in it. So it was about a 37 flathead. So I think this drivetrain may have all come out of a 37, 36, 37. Including that banjo. That's all gonna go. But maybe worth a little bit of whatever. I don't really sell stuff. I'm more into horse trading stuff anyway. So I'm gonna gather some parts up. Someone I know could be interested in the stuff. This cross member though, ugh, that scares me. I don't know when I'm gonna. So I was thinking of just lopping the frame off right here. Get rid of this cross member and everything altogether. Because the center of the axle was here. It was 103 inches. Take that off, center, probably like a big hand, so it's about 6 inches. 6 inches shorter there. And I only have to take out 6 in the back here. 6 back here. Boom. A tube across. I'll have to play. I think I'll have to throw the body back on and so we can slide it back and forth and put the gas tank in and then see where everything's gonna sit when I lay that out. what I'll do is I'll do it the way I used to set up stock car chassis. The frames in here usually start with a Chevelle front half and throw truck arms in it, was what we used to do way back. So I would build in a little bit of a turn to them. So I used to lay everything out with masking tape. Just going across with pieces of masking. Boom, boom. Put a string down the middle. Keep my center. Plumb bob and mark up the floor too. And I can work off reference marks on the floor and reference marks on the chassis for the center line, and that way I've got double reference marks going. Usually works. Actually, it always works when you do that. It just takes time. You just have to measure and measure and measure, and then measure again. I don't know, I might spend a couple of minutes and see if I can snip off some of these mounts. Anyway, thanks for watching again. I'm going to get better at these videos and maybe figure out how to do some editing with it. Anyway, have a good night.